everyone. Okay, so we've come to week 3 of our happy hips. So hope you're all feeling really good and nicely loosened up in the hips. So in today's session, you are going to need a couple of blocks, get a blanket, just maybe underneath your knees or a little bit of padding, a little bit of comfort. I have 2 of the larger blocks as well, but you can manage with these ones, and you need your belt. So grab those things and then join me back on your mat. Now, to begin with, we're going to be sitting in Barasana. So in Varasana, and you're going to be sitting up on your block, on more blocks than what you normally have. So if you normally work with 1 block, then grab 2 blocks. So you want to make it so you're feeling just a little bit more of a kind of like a stretch along the front of the leg, but you want to feel lifted, really quite lifted. So I don't want you to feel as if it's a challenge. I'm sorry, I've got a hair stuck to my face. So you don't want to feel as if it's a challenge in this pose already. So just that, make sure again that your ankle bones are nicely tucked in and they're running flush in line with your toes. Okay, so once we're here, get your shoulders roll back, keep your tailbone tucking under. Just rest your hands just onto your legs. Close your eyes, just dip your chin in towards your chest. Take a few breaths, just tune in just to see how you feel. So recognize how you feel physically, mentally, emotionally. And when we've tuned in, then we have a starting point, a place at which to begin our practice. So it's always good just to take a couple of breaths just at the beginning. And really settle into yourself and onto the mat, just settling down. When you can start then just to bring the attention towards the breathing, and the breathing feels in unison with the body. So then we're feeling a whole mind, body, spirit experience rather than just breathing separate to our bodies. So when you have that feeling, just bringing the palms together. And set your intention for your practice. And then when you have that, bring in the thumbs up just to the space between the eyes. Take the hands up over the crown. Your intention is then out there. And then draw the hands back down towards your heart center and releasing the hands down to the legs. Okay, just take a couple of breaths. And then from now, if it feels okay, you can lift up and remove one of the blocks. If you're still sat on 2 or more, then that's fine. Just work with what you feel is right for you. Take your hands straight out in front. Interlock the fingers and turning the hands over. So keeping the tailbone really tucking under. So when you're tucking under, you start to feel a little bit more of a stretch just coming through the front of the thigh. Take the arms up over the head. Long stretch up. Pulling the elbows towards the ears as you're reaching up with the tailbone tucking down. One more breath here. And then bringing the hands down. Okay, give your shoulders a little bit of a roll. And then bring your hands straight back behind. Interlock your fingers and drawing your hands down towards the block. Roll your shoulders back, keep them pulling down. Keep your chin tucked back. There's a tendency when we pull the arms back that the chin sticks out. So just pulling it back in. Keep your belly drawing back. Keep the tailbone tucking down. One more breath. Okay, releasing the hands. So now we can start just to come forward on your block. Now when you come forward or lifting up, you're just going to take your right foot, so it's just going to go over to the side. Take the left one back behind it. And then if it feels okay, you're sitting back just onto your one block. Now, obviously, if you need more than one block, because it's quite early on in our practice, we've only just started, and I'm asking you to do this. So if you need 2 blocks, then place 2 blocks in. Place your hands down onto the legs, and I want you to focus just on the hips being level. So just, again, close your eyes. So after the exhalation, just opening the eyes. Okay, come forward, and then you're going to change that crossover. So at the moment, we've got the right on the top. So bring it back round, and then take it back behind the left, so the left is on top. And bringing the legs in. Okay, hands just go back onto the legs again. And again, think about your hips being level. So we don't want to kind of think much more than that. Just get the hips nice and level, and just get to focus just on your breathing again, so the breathing is nice and smooth. One more breath here. Okay. And then again, come forward. And we can uncross the legs back again, just into Varasana, just sat back. May feel a little bit more comfortable this time for some of you. So just have the hands just pressing down onto the feet. And again, keep the tailbone tucking under. Obviously, if it feels really, really easy, if you don't feel as if there's anything going on at all, then slip that block out and just have your bottom down to the floor. But you want to feel as if you're able, again, just to stabilize through the hips, keeping them pressing down. So you don't want to feel as if your attention is elsewhere, just in the pose. Okay. And then bring yourself forward again. So I'm going to turn myself this way around. So I'm facing the long edge of my mat. Take your big toes together, knees out a comfortable distance apart. So, go as wide as you feel that you're able to go. Place your hands just in front, drawing your belly back, keeping the bottom tucking back towards the heels. Stretch your arms forward and then bringing the forehead down. Nice long, deep stretch here, just sinking right into the hip creases. Okay, so from here, use the stomach muscles just to draw back up again, to come back up onto, again, just sat back onto the heels this time, so knees are in. Now from here, you're going to just dig your fingers in right into the hip crease, right at the top of the legs. So getting right into there, pulling anything up and out the way that is in the way. So lean forward slightly, then head your hands to the squashy bit just underneath your rib cage. Pulling that area back, pulling back, lengthen forward as much as you can. Taking the hands forward and then bringing the head, if it'll come down to the floor. So keep the bottom heading back, arms stretching forward. Okay, after your next exhalation, squeeze back on the stomach muscles just to bring yourself back up, and we're back up. Roll the shoulders back. Okay, take your hands forward. So we're going to come up, hands and knees, then tuck the toes up into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. So pulling up and edge back. You might need to just have a little pedal out with the feet if it's the first one of the day for you.
So, or if you, depending on what time of day that you're doing this, it'll depend on how much maybe flexibility that you have. So if you need to, excuse me, just have a little wriggle out with your toes, wriggle out with the ankles, the legs, the knees, the hips, the waist, okay, and then just holding back here. So nice and strong, pushing back through the arms. Okay, bring your right leg up in the air. Keep the leg strong and as straight as you can as you're lifting the arm up, charging it up towards the ceiling, and then bring that leg in, right up between the hands. So once it's there, bring your back knee down. This is where your little bits of padding will come in. So if you need that underneath your knees, then take it there. So just keeping the back toes tucked under for now. Make sure on the front knee it's staying directly on top of the knees staying directly on top of the ankle bone. I'm feeling a nice stretch out through that back leg. So just pressing the hands down, just holding there, edging my chest to come forward, really feeling a nice long stretch at the top of my leg. Keep your back toes tucked under here. Okay, so just pushing back, edge yourself forward a tiny bit more. So from pushing back into the back foot and then edge the hip forward. Okay, and then we can just pull back, and you're going to keep the toes tucked, pull all the way back so you can sit back, if it feels okay, sit back just onto the toes. So some of you may just be here. If you can maybe bring the hands in. And again, strong on them toes, I tell you. Okay, so keep the belly pulling back, keep strong with it, keep a lift, an internal lift. Woo. And then come forward. Okay, so hands go down to the floor. We're going to straighten out in the back leg, taking that right leg back. So we're going to go ready for the other side. So nice and strong again, just in your Ardha Mukha Svanasana. And then taking your left leg up, nice and strong with the lift, and then squeezing in, placing the foot forward, and placing that back knee down. Keep your toes, again, nicely tucked under. So you may want to walk your front foot forward a tiny bit more to make sure that the knee stays directly on top of the ankle bone. Feeling that nice long stretch out just through the front of the right thigh this time. So we can hold there. My toes are nicely tucked. I'm just edging myself forward a little bit more just to get a little bit deeper stretch into this left leg. So our chest is heading forward. Now, obviously, just make sure that you're going to what you feel is your measure, not just swinging into the hips there. And then from here, then we're going to start just to move it back. So we can start just to pull all the way back, sitting back onto the toes. And then we can either remain here if it feels okay, or you can bring the hands in. So you want to feel that internal lift, squeezing in, lifting up. It's a strong one for those toes, Italian. Lifting, 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 squeezing in, pulling up, pulling up, pulling up, and then the hands down. Okay, so come forward, placing the hands down, and then straighten out through your back leg, front leg back, and pull back up into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Okay, so once we're here, again, nice and strong on the legs, pull right up onto the toes, draw your belly back, sink the heels back to the wall behind. From here, come forward into a plank pose. From here, we're just going to bring the knees down, chin and chest coming down. Slide forward onto your belly. Keep the hands just exactly where they are and stretch your legs back, pointing the toes. So do this a couple of times just to make sure that we really feel a good stretch coming right from the hips. Hands are just going to press down, lifting up in the top part of your back. So keeping the belly down onto the floor, keeping the hips pressing down, but strengthen out through those legs. Press back as much as you can. And then releasing down. So forehead comes down. Okay, this time if we can, for those that can, bring your hands a little bit lower so they're more level with the bottom of your rib cage. So then when we lift up, we can either lift up into Bhujasana, which is just keeping your hips down onto the floor. Legs are stretching back, so and the knees are down, legs are down. So we can either be here into it, or if you feel that you're able to, then we lift up, tops of the feet, pressing down so the legs are up. Well, the knees are up off the floor, not the whole of the legs. Tops of the feet are pressing down. Really charge back into the feet. So pushing back and the hips are moving forward. Chest is lifting. We're looking up. And then everyone just rolling back over the toes and back into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Squeeze back through your belly. Okay, now we're going to just start to lift up again just with your right leg. Take the leg up nice and high. Look forward to the top edge of your mat and then bringing that leg through. Right up again just between your hands. From here, pressing down into that, into the toes on the back foot. Really work the heel back, reaching up with your arms. So that back leg just off the floor now, or the knees off the floor. So we're reaching up with the hands, nice and strong, feeling it through right the top of the thigh on that left leg. So keeping that lift, holding there. One more breath. And then bringing the hands down. Okay, once the hands come down, then step that leg back. Okay, left leg. Lift the leg up in the air, right up high, look forward, top edge of your mat, and then bringing that leg through. Okay, toes are onto the floor on the back foot, my heel is lifted, leg is charged back. So from here, then taking your arms up, so keep it strong in that back leg, otherwise you're going to wobble, you're going to fall over. So keeping that good strong lift, arms stretch up a little bit more. Feel that we can sink maybe a little bit deeper just into the hips, back leg nicely charged, keeping it there. Okay, hands come down to the floor, control it all the way down, front leg back into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Now from here, come forward into your plank. You might need to scoot your feet back a little bit more, but stay pushing back into the toes as you edge your hips forward towards the floor and you're lifting up with your chest. Strong in those legs. Don't let the feet fall out to the sides. Keep them nice and strong. Keep them lifted. And then head down. Pull all the way back. Okay, walk your feet in towards the center. Bring your hands into your hips, pressing in. Inhale, lift up and come all the way up to standing. Okay, so you can turn yourselves around so you're long on your mat. Give your shoulders a little bit of a roll. So we're going to do a couple of standing postures before we can get really kind of like into some deeper stretches for the hips. So take your legs out a leg length apart. So you can either walk or jump the legs out, leg length apart. Bring the hands just onto the hips, pressing down. Roll your shoulders back and then let the arms float out to the sides. From here, we're going to turn in. Left foot turns in, right leg turns out. We're making sure that we feel as if this left leg is facing forward, right leg, the whole of the leg is turned. Arms are out to the side. Keep pushing back into the outer edge of that left foot. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lengthen over. Bring the hand down towards the leg. Now it can push into the leg or it can push away from the leg. So whichever you feel that you can turn the body a little bit more, you can get more out of it. So it's your pose. So again, if you feel like you want to push away to lengthen out, then that's fine. If you feel you're pushing in to turn, then that's fine. Okay, and then push into the left foot. Inhale as you come back up.
Turn the feet back in. So we're back to where we started. Okay, give your arms a little bit of a refresh and then ready for the other side. So turning in and turning out. So remember those qualities of the legs, of what they need to do, how it needs to push back. Okay, from here, we keep the lift, then extend over as far over as you can. Bringing that hand down. So remember, either pushing in or pushing away, whichever you feel works best for you. Okay, make sure that the top of the lower shoulder is rolling back so you can rotate the chest a little bit more. Okay, and then inhale as you come back up. Turning the feet back in and walk or jump the feet back together. Okay, so from here, you're going to need your belt. So grabbing hold of your belt and you want to make a large loop in it. So now the belt, the loop in the belt will determine kind of how far your legs are going apart. So you're going to have it roughly about where you've just been for Trikonasana, or slightly more than that. Okay? So we have the belt there. So you're going to push into the belt, but also feel as if, so you're trying to keep the belt taut, but also feel as if you're trying to suck that belt in. So you're trying to pull the legs together. Really activates kind of working in your inner thighs. So we have that there. We're going to push out a little bit just with our heels. So the toes are turning in, my hands are onto the hips, pushing down, rolling rolling back. So keep your thumbs pushing back so we can keep the tailbone tucking under. Get your little fingers just towards the crease at the top of the leg. Keep the lift. Then exhale. Come forward, come forward, come forward, come forward, come forward. Bring your hands down. So hands can push into the belt. Now when they push into the belt, if you're not down to the floor, if you've got a block handy, place a block onto it. So, you don't want to be missing out. So pressing down, lengthen forward as much as you can. So getting nice and deep into these hips. So again, lengthen forward with the chest, pressing the hands down. And then again, just releasing down. And again, lengthen forward, and then coming back down again. So feeling the stretch right along the legs. Feel the quality of the arms pulling in together. So arms are like Chaturanga arms. Okay, and then inhale, lengthen up, bring the hands onto the hips. Inhale all the way up again. Okay, so from here, we can then just move the belt out of the way for now. Don't need that just at the moment, but you do need your 2 blocks. So grab 2 blocks and place them on your right hand side. So they're going there. So we're going to be doing Bhujasana. So take your legs out, nice wide stride, a bit wider than the last 2 poses. Okay, hands going onto the hips, pressing down. Again, get that grounding of your feet. Push to the outer edge of the left foot. Push to the outer edge of the right foot. Feel the legs pushing out the sides, but also thigh muscles pulling up and the inner thighs pulling in, as if you have that strap across your feet. Now from here, turning in, a good turn in with your left foot. So it starts to, the foot will turn in, but we can still keep the front of this leg facing forward. Turning out with the whole of your right leg. Turning out to the sides, rolling right from the hip. Arms out to the sides. Exhale, bend the knee. So a nice big stretch there. Keep the chest lined up over the hips. Keep pushing back right to the outer edge of this left leg. So from here, then exhale, lengthen over. Bring your hands onto your blocks. Slightly further. Be better if they were a bit nearer. Okay, so hands onto the blocks. So I'm pushing my leg back against the blocks. I'm turning a little bit more, charging up in that left foot. So I can turn more in my hip. I can turn more in my chest. I can then bring my arm up and over the head. Nice long stretch. 3 breaths. That's 1, 2, 3.
Okay, from here, bring your arm back, bring it back up, Virabhadrasana 2, all the way back up. Turn that foot back in. Bring your hands onto your hips, push down, just reset. Okay, so move your blocks over to the other side. Try and do it without disturbing the leg setup if you can. So keeping the blocks in nice and near. Okay, so hands back onto your hips again, and I'm going to turn in, good turn in with the right foot. Keep that hip pulling back, keep the front of the leg looking forward, turning out with the whole of your left leg this time. So that leg is rolling out. Again, hips and chest facing forward, let the arms float out to the sides, holding here. Then exhale, bend your knee, that's it. So no pressure going onto the knee, we're just pushing back into that back leg. Okay, from here, inhale, exhale, lengthen over, bring your hand down onto the block. So we're up a little bit higher because then we can focus more on the hips. But if you are able to get to the floor, then that's fine. So again, push back into the back leg, pull back on the hip, pulling back. So you can even get your hands in physically, pulling round, pulling round, pulling round. Push the knee back against the arm going up and over the head. Nice long stretch, stretching away. It's 1, 2, 3. Okay, bring your arm back. The body will follow by pushing back into the back leg. Then all the way up. Turn the feet back in. Okay, heel, toe, or jump or walk the feet back together. Coming back in, being Tadasana. Roll your shoulders back and down. Okay, so Vrksasana, tree pose. If you do need the wall, then by all means take yourself to either have the back against the wall, have the wall on your side, whichever works best for you. So your standing leg is going to be your right leg. So from here, make sure you feel as if you're grounded, really well grounded, and you're pulling up. Feel that zipping up, pulling up. Tailbone tucking down, pull up through the front of the body. So think of the hips being compact. Lift the shoulders, roll them back. Then from here, take the weight over onto your right foot. So without a shift of the hips, just turning that leg out. From here, strong on the standing leg, pulling up, pulling up, pulling up, and bringing that leg up. Once we're there, again, you can hold onto your hips, pressing down. You can lift up into the chest. That's it. So hands in the Anjali Mudra doing Namaste. You can take the arms up over the head, either hands together or hands wide apart. Oh, she says that she's going to wobble over. Okay, so keeping the lift. So if you do need the wall, grab hold of the wall, because again, we're working more on opening up in the hips. Okay, bringing your hands down and then bring the leg down. And hopefully you were a little bit steadier than me. Not my best, is it, on a balance? Right then, so again, bend your legs, feel that grounding, so really get rooted down, then pulling up on your thigh muscles, feel the zipping up, tailbone tucking under, pull up through the front of the body, keep the lift, roll your shoulders back, strong on the right leg, so we're loosening off on the left. Now when you feel that the hips are nicely packed in, when you feel nice and strong with it, then we can start to come up with that leg. We're going to hold onto the wall straight away. So that leg is up, foot pushing into the leg pushing into the foot. Knee going out to the side. From here, either hands to the hips, pressing down. Hands to the heart center. Oh, and I've gone. Okay, so if the hands are at the heart center, and you could take the arms up over the head. Let's see if I can get it for a moment. That's it. Okay. And then arms down and leg down. Okay, give your shoulders a little bit of a roll. So we're going to go back again just into with our belts. So grabbing hold, you can move your blocks out of the way if you're not needing them. So some of you may be able to go a little bit wider now with the belt. So one foot But now you want to still make it so you feel as if you're still getting a stretch through the spine as well as the legs. So sometimes when we go too wide with the legs, it makes it easier just to kind of sink the chest forward. So, you know, have a little bit of where you're working still into it. Don't just go for an easy option. You want to feel that the legs are working. You want to feel that the spine is lengthened to get the best out of it. Okay, so heels are pushing out to the side slightly. Again, pushing down. So you feel the outer edge of the feet are pushing down. From there, the thigh muscles are pulling up. The inner thighs are working. So they want to feel as if they're pulling in, squeezing in and pulling up to the midline. Hands go onto the hips. We press down, keeping that lift. Get your little fingers into the crease at the top of the legs. And then lengthen forward, lengthen, 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 lengthen. We come down, bring the hands just onto the belt, pressing down, keep the elbows in, look forward, and then coming back down. Again, inhale, lengthen forward, exhale, coming down. Inhale, coming forward, exhale, coming down. Now this one, hold here. If you can take the hands and just stretch them through the legs. So have the palms facing down just for one breath. Then you can turn so the palms are facing up for one breath, just encouraging the body to come down. Okay, and then bring your hands back onto the belt. Then the hands onto your hips. Keep the strength in the legs. It's going to really help support the rest of the body. Inhale as we come up, and then heel, toe, or walk the feet back in together. So once you come back in, roll the shoulders back and down. Okay, so we can just move the belt out of the way for a moment. And we're going to bring ourselves down to lying down on the floor. Now you're going to be laid down first of all. If you lay down on your left side, so when you're on your left side, we're going to be working with the right leg and taking the right leg up. So I keep mirror imaging and then changing around, but this is my left side at the moment. Right, so right onto that hip, and you can stretch the lower arm away, stretch it away as much as possible. My feet are stretching out, but my feet are flexed, and I'm right onto the hip. It's kind of a little bit rocky because you do feel as if you need the hand a little bit just to be able just to help to keep you there. So from here, the arm stretched, the lower arm, then bring the arm in, just rest it around the back of the head. Keep stretching away through the legs. And then when you're ready, on that top leg, bring that leg in. So it comes in, first of all, you have an option of being in like a tree position, so Bhujasana, just into this one. So again, this is going to work into your hips, and you're going to have the knee rolling out, the hip rolling out. So you are getting a deep hip stretch here. If you want to take it a little bit further, then you can bring the leg in, grab hold, your first two fingers, and you grab in a Yogi Toe Lock. So go through the first two fingers go between the big toe and the second toe with your first two fingers, and then lifting that leg up. Now, there's a tendency to roll back onto your bum, so you'd be more kind of like that. So you've got to really make sure that you're right over onto your hip as you're stretching that leg up. And you're working just to pull that leg. So it's starting to open you up again, even more in the hips. So roll the leg out more to the side. Sit holding there. Okay, and then we can let go of the leg, bring it back in if you want, just into your tree pose, and then over so the feet are on top of each other. So again, you're back just into resting on your side. Now you can either just roll over to the other side, or I'm going to come up and then change way around so you're not just looking at my backside really. So much better this way, you can see more what's going on. So one foot stacked on top of the other. My lower arm stretches away as much as you can. So you're getting a lot of length along the lower side of the body. Then bringing the arm in, so it's just resting onto the back of your head. So from here, and keep the hand at the front, so you can bring that top leg, and you can just place it just. Oh, hang on, cramp on the back of my leg. So you can place it in again, just as if you're doing Varasana, and you can keep the hand there. So, and that's fine, and just making sure that you're right over onto your hip as you're rolling that leg out to the side. So we either hold here. If you want to take it further, draw the leg up, take hold, and then stretching that leg up. Again, aim to stay as much as you can over onto your hip. So pulling that leg up. There's a kind of a little bit of a fight going on with rolling back, rolling forward, keeping the leg up in the air, keeping the leg rolled out. So just doing the best you can here. You'll feel the stretch on the inner thigh. Now, this is a similar pose to what we've been doing the last few weeks with the leg on the floor. Where we've been laid on the floor and we've had the belt round onto the foot and pulling onto it. And we've also done it as well where we've had the leg up on either at the wall, the door, or on the chair. So just a different variation on this one. It is a pose in its own right, but it feels a little bit more casual, doesn't it, in this one? Okay, and bring that leg back down so you can go back through again into tree pose and then back down. One foot stacked up on top of the other. Okay, so bring yourselves over onto your front. Now from here, we're going to be lifting up and you're going to be doing a plank pose. So tuck the toes in and then pushing up, so we'll come up into a plank. We then can turn it over into Vasvisthasana. Now, on your side plank, we're going to work on lifting that lower hip up as much as we can. Okay, if you need to, top leg can go back. But otherwise, have one foot stacked up on top of the other. Lift the hip, lift the hip, lift the hip. Reach up with the top arm. And then bring it back round. So now you will see the back side of me on this one. So we're going to go over. So over to the left. One foot stacked up on top of the other. Remember, you can have one foot back if you want to. Aim on lifting up in the hip, reaching the arm up. Keep the hip lifting, keep it lifting, keep it lifting, and then bring it back down. Okay, come down for a moment, just take a breather, sit back to the heels. Now, we're going to be working, again, Vasvisthasana, and then we're going to be grabbing hold of the leg and taking that leg up. Obviously, if it feels a little bit much, just work with your side plank again, your Vasvisthasana. Okay, so just doing the best that you can do. So come forward and then up into your plank. Go over onto your right hand side first. From there, bring your top leg in. Grab hold. And then lifting that leg up. Pull the leg up, pull the leg up, pull the leg up, pull the leg up. Good. And then back down. Bring it back over. Oh, it's a strong one. Okay, right. So over onto the left. So one foot stacked up on top of the other. Remember, you can either hold here, or if you're going for it, you bring the leg in, grab hold. Keep the hips lifted up as much as you can as you pulling up with the leg, pulling up, pulling up, pulling up, pulling up. Keep it lifted, keep it lifted, keep it lifted. And then the leg goes down, coming back over. Come down to your knees and sit back. Take a couple of breaths. Okay, now once you have been sat like this and you're lifted and your breathing has gone back to normal, then again we're going to take that stretch forward from here. So clear any space away, just at the tops of the legs, any fleshy bits. Okay, pulling away. Take a slight lean forward. Then get in any squashy bit, pull it back. So near your rib cage, and then lengthen forward, lengthen forward, lengthen forward. Take your arms forward, have the palms facing in towards each other this time. So lengthen forward. It's a really tough one to do and to talk at the same time. So lengthen forward and then bringing your head down. Okay. Squeeze the belly back as you draw back through your arms, and then give your shoulders a little bit of a roll back. Okay. So, next pose, an inverted pose. So we're going to be going up, it'll be a tripod headstand, but when we lift up, we can come all the way up, but see if we can just pause for a moment, just at that halfway mark in it. So this is going to, again, it'll get in, target into your hips, but it'll also bring in a little bit of core work as well. So hands, if we think of Chaturanga, if we think of the pose where we did Pasarita Padottanasana, so the wide leg forward bend. So, and if think of your setup of your arms. So hands are going down, and then remember you've got an imaginary triangle there in front of you. So right on top, right, the crown of your head wants to be at the top of that triangle. Hands are there. So if I give you a little bit of time, I'll show you first. So my head is onto there, I'm lifting my shoulders back, my hands are down. Just drawing back a little bit through my belly, and then start to straighten out with the legs. So walk in, walk in, walk in, and then lifting up. So holding here, holding here. The pose is called Urdhva Dandasana. So holding, 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 holding. And then slowly back down. And take a moment just once you come down. So, right, so I'm going to talk through that again so you can set yourselves up in the pose. So you're going to have a triangle, imaginary triangle there in front. Crown of the head is at the top of the triangle. Your hands are back. So when your head is on the floor, on your peripheral vision, you should be able to see your hands. And remember, you can clap your hands in front of your face because your face will be up there. So once you're there with it, make sure your shoulders are lifting, and then start to straighten out with the legs. So the way that you're looking, you'll be looking back, you'll see your legs, make sure they're in the center, and then you can start, keep the legs straight, start to walk in, walk in, walk in, and then the legs then, if you tune in a little bit into your belly as well, so hips and into the belly, the legs will start to float up. From there, we're holding that halfway mark. Hopefully I managed to get it halfway. It's a bit hard to tell sometimes. So, but anyway, you're aiming for halfway. So once you've done it there, then you can always, but aim to go there first. Take a few breaths there. And then when you've been there, come down, take a breather. And then after that, then we can go up and we can take it into the full tripod headstand. So it is basically like in, I think they call it Shasana 2 in this because it's not classed as the traditional headstand. Okay, so if we're going up into the full one, again, you have your imaginary triangle. So your head there in front, hands just, there's a ridge, I think, under this. There's a little bit of a ridge. Right, so, right, so my hands are there. So then with my legs straightening out, start to walk in, walk in, walk in. Let the legs float up, and then the legs can carry on going. So they're lifting up and holding up. Take a couple of breaths. And then the legs can slowly start to come down. And my knees down. And then I'm sat back up again. Whew. Okay, so from there, if we're being up on the head and that pressure on the head, you might want to just take your hands to the back of your head. Press the head back, then let the hands just slide up the head a little bit so it's dipping the chin in. And then again, so just pressing the head just back into the hands. Then let the hands slide up as the chin moves in. And then once more, so press back. And let the hands slide up, chin moving in. And then release. Okay, there's not a lot of ones to do really for strengthening in your neck, and just really works to iron out if there's any little creases that we've got in there, and especially with that pose, because the weight is really evenly distributed there just between your head and your hands. With a normal traditional headstand, you can take a lot of the weight which will go onto your forearms and the arms will be pushing, and you can even kind of lift the head up slightly off the floor. So with that, the weight is really very evenly, there's a lot of pressure down onto there. Although it feels easier, I think, to get up, there's more even pressure. Okay, give your shoulders a little bit of a roll. And then from here, so I'm just sat back at the moment, just on my heels. If you do need a block, then grab hold of a block. So we're going to come forward and we're going to take our left leg in front of the right. And I'm going to sit back onto my heel. So one heel, one foot going out to the side, and I'm sat back on one of them. So if you're not sitting back right onto your heel, if it's not feeling great for you, then by all means just take a block in. So we're going to be doing it again, taking the foot out to the side, but I just want you to really feel that first. So you sat back onto that heel and we have one foot out to the side, pressing the hands down. Okay, and then after your next exhalation, come forward. So placing that leg back, and then place your right leg in front, and then you can sit back again, this time sitting back onto your left heel with the right foot going out to the side. So hands are down just to steady. Again, if you need a block, then place a block in. Just one more breath here. Okay, and then come forward. So undoing the legs. Now this time again, we're going to be taking that left leg over, and we can let the right foot fall out a little bit more to the side. So we can either sit back just back onto your mat, or if you do need a block, then by all means place a block in to bring yourself up a little bit higher. Use as many blocks as you need. So hand is pressing down onto the leg. Now from here, we're just going to take, so the leg which is on the top, so it should be your left leg, take that arm, bring it out to the side, turn so the thumb is facing down, bring that arm up between your shoulder blades. With your right arm, palm facing up, stretch the arm up towards the ceiling and then clasping the hands back behind. Now watch what happens, because sometimes when we focus on the arms, the leg lifts. So really feel as if that leg is pushing down. Push it down, push it down, push it down, push it down, push it down. Keep the base nice and solid, pressing down onto the floor. So there's an even lift then through the sides, the front, back and sides of the body. So although we're working with the arms and the shoulders as well, we really want to keep that focus into the hips. Okay, and then release. So from here, again, rock forward if we can. Bring your left leg over. It can go underneath the right. Think of your foot or the feet moving out to the sides, and then sit back. So you can see this one doesn't work quite as well for me on this side. So I'm going to take a block, place that underneath just to bring me up a little bit higher. There we go. That feels a little bit more comfortable. Hips are screaming at me here. Okay, so press the hand down. Now when we feel settled with our hips, so we feel that they're even, then I'm going to be taking my right arm out to the side, big stretch, turn the thumb so it's facing down, bring my arm up between my shoulder blades, so that arm is right up there. Left hand now, I'm reaching up and then placing the hand back. So you're taking hold if you can. Now, don't worry quite so much if the hands aren't meeting. Just taking that action of the arm lifting, one arm going back. But again, focus more on the legs. Let the hip relax into it. Let it relax. So think of it moving down, moving down, moving down, moving down. Hips relaxing, hips relaxing, hips relaxing. One more breath. And then release. Oh, okay. Right, give your legs a little bit of a stretch out in front. Now, if you don't need it, you can just come away from the block. Leave that at the side. Okay. Now, I'm just going to come over to the side so you can see where I'm going with this next bit. So, legs are stretched out in front. Now, from the legs stretching out in front, I'm going to place my left hand first of all. That can press down onto my right leg, my right thigh. I'm taking hold, first two fingers again, that way around, sorry. First two fingers going in between the big toe and the second toe. So I've got hold there. Now when I've got hold, I'm bringing that leg up and I am nudging that leg back. So I can nudge the leg. Now it's not a case of me really opening and swinging up because that's not working the hips, it's just moving myself around. So I want to really feel as if I've got hold and I am pulling that leg back. Pulling the leg back, pulling the leg back. Okay, work a couple more times just to pull the leg back. Okay, and then place that foot back down. Right hand, press it down onto the leg. Take hold. So first two fingers again going in between the big toe and the second toe. So once I'm here with it, then I can lift this leg up and I am pulling that leg back and stretching it forward. Pull the leg back, that was my knee, forward. Pull the leg back and then stretch it forward. Pull the leg back and stretch it forward. Okay, I can't remember how many I did on the other side, but it's probably about the same now. And then placing that foot down. Okay, so once we have it there, then we can work just briefly into Janam Shishasana. So with Janam Shishasana, we're going to keep the right leg where it is, left leg, I'm going to hold the back of the knee. Take hold, bring that leg back, press my hands down, and from here, lead with my chest, then let the hands follow. So now the hands are going to, even though they're in front, they're pressing down for me to lift my chest again as I come forward. Taking one breath or two there. And then inhale, lift the head, lift the chest, come all the way back up. Straighten that leg out. Then on my right leg, relax the leg, take hold, pull that leg back. So I'm here just again facing towards that straight leg. Hands pressing down, lifting up, and then I'm starting to move forward with my chest. My hands can come forward, I'm pressing my hands down again. So I lift the chest and then slowly come down a little bit more over it. I'm not wanting to care, I'm wanting to lengthen as much as I can. Okay, so I'm back to here. And then inhale, come all the way back up. And then bring that leg back in and stretch that leg out. Okay, so this is where the blocks will come in handy. So if you have got some of these blocks, they may be a little bit easier for getting your hands to go over them. I know for me, I'm at a stage where if I have these two, it's a little bit high. And if I have this, it's not enough. So these blocks are a little bit easier just with them being that little bit more brick-like. So from here, we want to just have the hands down and then pulling up on the legs as much as we can. We can point the toes, pulling up on the legs and see if we can just get the hands onto there. And then you want to feel as if you're pressing down with the arms. So we've made them nice and strong with some of the poses that we've done into that Shishasana adaptation and into your tripod headstand and into your Chaturanga arms. So arms should be feeling quite nice and strong. So we're going to press down and lift your bottom up as if we're pulling the feet back. Okay? So press down, pull back, and then back down. It's still a big ask, I know. So we'll just see how we can do. So keep pulling up on the legs, so pressing down. So press nice and firmly, pulling up on the legs, and then back again. Okay, this time we're going, so now that we've done that, and we've done it a couple of times, see how we go with the leg now this time. So we've done the pose where we got hold and we pull the leg back. So here we're now just going to bring that leg up a little bit, grab hold. Now if we grab hold of the whole of the leg, pull that leg back. Okay, we've got it there. I'm going to keep hold of it with my left hand. I'm bringing my right arm underneath. Now from here, I'm starting to feel as if this leg can roll in a little bit more, so it's gripping to my arm. So I'm almost feeling as if I'm turning that leg in right from the hip socket, turning and squeezing it in. My hand is going to go onto the block. So I'm squeezing, and it is a really big ask because the leg's just going to roll down. Other leg is stretching away, squeezing, holding there, push, lifting up, woo, and then back down. Okay, so hopefully we managed to get a little bit of a lift on that side. So let's have a go on the other side. And they're a big struggle. Well, I find them a big struggle. I know some of you may find them really easy. That's great. Really happy for you. They're a big struggle for me, so this is a big challenge. Okay, so straightening out with the right leg, left leg, just again, as if we were pulling that leg back. Now from there, we're just going to take hold of the leg, pull it back. So we've got hold, we've got the arm in front of the leg, it's pulling back. Then we're going to need to take that arm underneath, as if we're throwing that leg up onto the shoulder. This leg now wants to feel as if it is curling and turning in towards me. It's hugging onto my arm as much as it can. So it's working those inner thigh muscles. Remember when we worked them a little bit earlier? My hand is now again going onto the block. So the leg is squeezing in, it's holding there. The other leg is stretching forward, press down, pull up, holding. Ooh, a little bit more steady on that side, and then back down again. Oh, okay, right. So we've done one on each side. So if you want to do more, just pause the video and do yourself a couple more. And that was one leg. So one leg working. We're going to try and we're working up towards the other leg, up towards both legs. So if you want to bring yourselves up to standing, if you have got some of the blocks, you can place them just back behind. It might give you a little, so you don't feel, if you're going to slide back down, you'll slide back down to the floor, won't feel quite so far away. So, okay, my legs are in front. Then I need to bend my arms. I'm going to bring myself forward. I'm bringing my feet together a little bit closer. I'm placing my hands onto the blocks. It would help if I had that in the right position, wouldn't it? So it was in there. Okay, so I'm through placing my hands onto the blocks. So when the hands come onto there, then I can start just to squeeze my legs in towards my arms. So holding there, can almost feel that sitting back onto my arms. One foot can go up on top of the other with a little bit of lift off before we slide down. Okay, so I'll show you from the other side as well. See if how you manage to go. Again, as you can see, really struggle with these, but it's all about just giving it a go, isn't it? Right, so feet almost together. Right, bend your legs. So get your feet as if they're kind of turning out a little bit more so you can get your hands in toward that angle. Okay? So we've gone through, placing my hands onto the blocks, bringing my feet a little bit closer together. So make a ledge with your arms, and then you can start, maybe hook the feet, and then lifting up. Woo! Before sliding down. Okay, now those that can, that pose, As I say, it's a really strong pose. You do feel it as well, kind of coming up into the belly. So for next month, when we start on those core ones, we should already feel as if we've got a little bit of a head start. So if you manage to get up and you're lifting up and you're quite steady in that pose, then you can always start and straighten the legs out. So legs will be stretched out in front with the legs over the arms. It's pointless me showing you that. There's no way I could get to that. So, but it's something to work on. Right then. Okay, so now that we've done there, now that we've done on that bit, we're just going to work now into our final pose. So with our final pose, you could do with a belt and make just a little loop on your belt. Now, well done if you didn't manage to get up on that last one. It's a tough pose, isn't it? We just need to practice it more. Right, so we're going to be sat legs out a little bit apart. Okay, so we're here with it. Now, while the legs are stretching out and we can press down, so we're lifting up nice and strong. Then we're going to start off just with we'll start with our right leg, bringing that leg in. So the work is going to be done over the left leg. Now you can take a block just onto the inner part of the knee, because this is where the elbow wants to rest. So if you are able, if you can get down lower, the elbow can come to the floor, and you want to be able to get that connection holding onto, if I move back a bit, I'll still be in, I think. So if it comes down, because you want to be able to get hold of the foot as we come down, and the hand is turned upwards. So it's the shoulder rolling out, palm facing up, and then it's like more the little finger towards your big toe. So it's not this, and it's not holding on here. So it's, if you imagine, palm up, push it into the foot, and then grab hold. But you want to have your elbow down to anchor down. So if that's a big ask, place a block there. Okay, if it's a bit of a struggle to get to the foot, you can by all means have a little loop and then have the hand hooked into there and back down. So get yourself your setup, whatever you need. So get your block in, get your belt handy just in case. So you can always have them there and then not use them, that's fine, rather than be grappling around for them afterwards. So we have our right leg in, left leg is out to the side. Pressing the hands down into the floor. Now I'm going to turn first of all to the bent leg side. So I'm turning, making a little bit of a twist, looking over that side. Really feel that that twist is happening through your waist as you're turning, looking back over your right shoulder. Now from here, stay if you can, looking, or you can even turn the head, but keep with the body looking over to that right side. Stretch your arm straight out in front and stretch it, stretch it, stretch it. From here, so still feel as if the body is turning to the right as you're bringing yourself over to the left. Elbow onto the block and your hand onto the foot or onto your belt. Okay, once you're there, the other arm now can just go back behind you so you can turn. Look up a little bit more towards the sky, and we're making sure that we're keeping that right hip firmly rooted down. From here, if you manage to get a good way down, and if you're not needing the block, then you can move that out of the way. Then we take the arm up and it comes up and over the head towards the foot. And we turn, we look underneath the arm. And just a tiny bit off the floor on there, so you can use, not necessarily maybe the padding from the, that's it, so it will be more there, and going up and over. So we feel a long stretch and a twist. Couple of breaths. Then to lift up out of it, reaching up, we come all the way back up again. And it's one of those, whoa, moments when you're up. Okay, so from there, so notice, still have your blocks and your things ready for the other side. The other side might be completely different. So once you're back up, register how it feels. Stretch that leg out to the side. Bring the other leg in. So again, if you need like a cushion, or if you need the block there, if you need your belt around the foot, take everything there that you're going to need. Then we're turning first of all, going to turn over towards that left-hand side. So when you're turning, turn through the waist, turn through the chest, turn through your shoulders, turning, looking back. So remember, I'm pushing down, working into the twist rather than pulling myself round. And remember, when you twist, you don't want to twist so far that you lift your bottom up off the floor. Keep it down onto the floor as you're turning and you're looking back. Okay. Turn your head back towards me so you can see where we're going. And then bring your hand, stretch it forward. So, or as if it's going over that knee. Bring your arm, still keep the twist of it, looking, your body looking to the left. Bring your arm round so it goes onto the floor and you're holding onto the foot. So remember, if you don't need the belt, and you don't have to use it. So that's there. Other arm is wrapped behind you. So you're focusing more on a twist, turning, looking back still, looking back. Then bring your arm up and over the head. You turn looking up underneath the arm. Keep rooted down as much as you can. Okay, and then inhale, come all the way up. Whew. And then you can just give the legs a bit of a stretch out. So pushing out, push the hands down. Good lift. And then back in. So bring the legs back in. Okay. Now, if you have cushions, blankets, everything that you need, you're going to take them all, and we're going to, and you I sound like I don't know what I'm saying. After that last pose, it is a bit much, isn't it? Right then, take your belt so it's got a good loop on your belt. So this is going to be your Shavasana. So the belt is going round and it's just going to hook round onto your legs. So you're going to be pulling that. So when the soles of the feet are together, I'll show you first of all here. So again, take whatever you need just behind you. But if you take the soles of the feet together and your belt is just going so it's wide enough where it's supporting the legs. So you don't want to feel as if, that's it, so we've got it there. So you want to feel as if the legs are supported while they're just out. Okay, you can take blocks as well. So hook them in just underneath the legs. So everything is rested. If you do have a bolster, rest with the legs over the bolster so they can relax onto it. So it's just with the belt there, it just gives it an extra bit of protection rather than these just falling out to the sides. Get yourselves covered up and take your arms out so you don't need to worry then about the legs. Legs are just out. We're going to spend a few moments here before we start to just bring the legs in a little bit closer together. So get your setup here. Make sure you feel comfortable. So I'm just going to move myself from here now. Okay, so you want to feel as if you're fully supported, the legs are fully supported. The back of the body can then just start to melt down towards the ground. So just tuning into your breathing. Soft, smooth, quiet breath. So allow every bit of effort from your practice now just to dissolve, to release, to let go. Take 10 breaths. Okay, now after your 10 breaths, you can then just start to bring the legs in a little bit closer together. So even if you're resting over a bolster, just bring it so the knees are looking up more towards the ceiling as they're over that bolster. And again, just allow yourself then time just to rest back. Allow yourself just to completely release and just to let go. And I'm just going to read to you just a small piece out of a book which someone got me for Christmas. A nice book. I do not predetermine my capabilities, but I allow them to expand naturally according to the challenges that arise in my life. You can do much more than you think you can. Handle much more than you think you can. Do not turn down the opportunity simply because of fear that comes from a new challenge. When you make yourself available for something new, your capabilities expand in order to incorporate the unfamiliar activity. Your self-definition must be flexible enough to make room for the new, so that you can rise to the challenges rather than shrinking from them. What would you love to do, but you are afraid? Can you push it a little bit closer to the fear? Can you expand your capabilities by just the tiniest amount? Put all your energy into growth and expansion. What you set in motion within the space of meditation becomes reality in fullness. So I do not predetermine my capabilities, but I allow them to expand naturally according to the challenges that arise in my life. Okay, so just slowly now, just start to bring your awareness back. Gently move your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. Open yourself to the senses. Touch, taste, hearing, sight. And take a good stretch. Stretching out in however you feel you need to stretch. And then just joining me back at sitting, bringing your palms together. And just bring thoughts back of your intention. And then bringing your hands up over the crown. Slowly start to just draw the hands down towards the Ajna chakra, your intuitive center. The Vishuddha, where you speak your truth and listen well. The Anahata, your center for love and compassion. The Manipura, your will, your drive, your determination. Svadhisthana, new beginnings, creativity and change. And the Muladhara for your strength and your stability. Bringing the hands back to the Anahata chakra. Again, the center for love and compassion. And also for kindness. So just making sure that you always hold a place there for yourself. And then blinking the eyes open. Namaste. Okay, so hope you're feeling good. Let me know how you're getting on. And hopefully I shall see you all soon. Okay, take care everyone.